What if I told you that in certain circles your reputation isn't built on what you drive, where you vacation, or even the size of your fortune, but on how you entertain? That's right. In old money society, the art of hosting a dinner party is not a trivial pastime. It's a centuries-old performance, a carefully orchestrated ballet of manners, traditions, and subtle cues that reveal far more about your status than your bank account ever could. And here's the thing. Very few people outside of these circles ever get to see it. In today's video, we're discussing the quiet traditions behind elite dinner party etiquette. You're about to discover how old money families host at home, from the moment the invitations are written to the last sip of brandy after dessert. These aren't just dinner parties. They are rituals of refinement, displays of continuity, and quiet affirmations of belonging to a world where class is measured in behavior, not in bragging. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the Luxury Lane. On this channel, we explore the private codes of wealth, power, and tradition, knowledge that money can't buy but legacy demands. Now, let's begin. The invitation. The first impression. In old money society, the dinner party begins long before the first course is ever plated. It begins with the invitation, and this is where subtlety reigns supreme. Unlike modern hosts who may shoot off a group text or blast a quick email, old money families treat the invitation as a formal gesture. Traditionally, invitations are handwritten, or embossed on fine stationery, delivered days or even weeks in advance. The tone is cordial, understated, and never ostentatious. Why? Because an invitation is not just about logistics. It sets the stage for the entire evening. It communicates respect. It signals the formality of the event. And quietly, it defines the social boundaries. In other words, the way an invitation is extended tells the guest exactly what kind of evening they are walking into. In elite circles, the guest list is as important as the menu. The right mix of individuals is an art in itself. Old money hosts avoid extremes. No guest should feel overshadowed, and no single personality should dominate. Instead, harmony is the goal. A duke may be seated beside a discreet banker, a novelist beside a philanthropist. The careful curation of personalities is one of the unspoken skills of true society. Arrival, the subtle ritual of welcome. When the evening arrives, so does another layer of etiquette. Guests are expected to appear punctually, not fashionably late as modern pop culture might suggest. In fact, tardiness is considered disrespectful. Upon arrival, coats and accessories are discreetly taken by staff or placed neatly in designated areas. But here's a detail few notice. The host or hostess is always positioned to personally greet each guest at the entrance. There is no delegate, no stand-in. This is a mark of personal responsibility and refinement. The evening is theirs to orchestrate, and the first impression must be made face-to-face. Greetings are warm but reserved. Old money etiquette frowns upon over-the-top displays of affection or loud exclamations. Instead, handshakes, polite cheek kisses, or soft nods prevail. Guests compliment the host on the home or the occasion, but never excessively. Too much flattery feels insincere, and in these circles, sincerity is the highest currency. As the reception begins, champagne or light cocktails are offered, but here's the rule. No one overindulges before dinner. To lose composure is to lose dignity, and dignity is the backbone of old money behavior. Dress code, the silent language of class. Every dinner party tells a story, and the dress code is part of that narrative. Old money hosts often indicate attire on the invitation, whether it's black tie, cocktail, or semi-formal. But even when unstated, there is an unspoken understanding. Modest elegance. Old money attire is never about flaunting logos or flashy statements. For women, this means understated gowns, pearls instead of oversized diamonds, and fabrics chosen for quality, not trend. For men, it's about well-tailored suits, polished shoes, and a timeless watch that doesn't scream for attention. There's a saying in these circles, if people remember your outfit, you've done it wrong. they should remember you. The goal is always to project refinement, not spectacle. To the untrained eye, this may even appear simple, but that's precisely the power. Old money style whispers where new money shouts. The table, a stage of tradition. And now we arrive at the centerpiece of the evening, the table. Here is where the layers of tradition become visible, each detail carefully chosen to reflect both heritage and grace. A true old money dinner table is never overcrowded with flashy centerpieces or cluttered with unnecessary items. Instead, it is a balance of form and function. Table linens are crisp and immaculate, often white or cream. Silverware is polished to a mirror shine, arranged with precision according to classical etiquette. Glassware is fine but restrained, crystal that sparkles under candlelight, never ostentatious colored goblets. The seating arrangement follows invisible rules. It is the host's role to place guests in a way that encourages conversation. Couples are usually separated, ensuring a dynamic flow of dialogue across the table. Distinguished guests may be seated closest to the host, while newcomers might be placed beside excellent conversationalists to ensure they feel included. One of the great unspoken secrets? Every placement is strategic. You never end up next to someone by chance. The meal, the rhythm of refinement. Once everyone is seated, the dinner truly begins. Not with a clang of cutlery or a toast shouted over chatter, but with stillness. In old money homes, mealtime is a ritualized performance where pace, posture, and precision all matter. The host or hostess signals when it's time to begin by simply unfolding their napkin. Only then do guests follow. It's an almost imperceptible cue, but in these circles, everyone notices. Courses arrive in quiet succession. Each dish is served and cleared by staff trained in discretion. Plates are presented from the left, beverages poured from the right. Conversation continues, but voices remain soft, never loud enough to drown out the clinking of crystal. Food itself is never flamboyant. Old money families prefer seasonal, locally sourced ingredients and timeless recipes. Think roasted pheasant, delicate soups, perfectly dressed greens, or a simple filet with a fine Bordeaux reduction. Trends like molecular gastronomy or gold leaf desserts rarely make an appearance here. To them, novelty feels gauche. Tradition, on the other hand, is sophistication. And here's the fascinating part. Every meal, no matter how lavish, carries a subtle undercurrent of restraint. Plates are portioned modestly. Guests never rush, never pile, never waste. This quiet moderation, born of generations who value stewardship over show, is perhaps the clearest distinction between old money and nouveau riche indulgence. The art of conversation. A dinner party is not judged by the food alone. In the eyes of the old money host, true success lies in conversation, the invisible thread weaving every guest into the evening's harmony. There are unwritten rules here too. First, conversation must flow like good wine. Smooth, balanced, never overwhelming. Guests avoid controversial topics such as politics, religion, or finances. Boasting about wealth or career success is considered vulgar. Instead, discussions linger on travel, books, music, architecture, or shared acquaintances. Old money conversation is never a stage for one's ego, it's a dance of intellect and charm. A skilled host ensures that no guest feels neglected. They gracefully pivot the topic, draw quieter guests in, and subtly diffuse awkward moments. The goal is effortless inclusion. If a guest is struggling to engage, a good host rescues them with a question about their interests. This isn't manipulation, it's empathy refined through tradition. Even laughter follows certain decorum. It should be genuine, but never raucous. Excessive reactions are viewed as attention-seeking. Old money humor is understated, often laced with irony rather than punchlines. And if you listen carefully, you'll notice another hallmark of old money manners: attentive silence. These people don't interrupt. They listen, absorb, and respond with thought. It's why conversations with them feel elevated. The unseen rules of service. Behind the elegance of every old money dinner party stands an invisible army of precision. The household staff, often trained for years, executes the evening like a silent orchestra. Service is seamless, almost ghost-like. Plates are cleared between courses without a sound. Glasses are refilled discreetly. The staff never intrudes on conversation. Eye contact is minimal, voices are hushed, and timing is everything. But make no mistake, this isn't about subservience. In old money households, staff are treated with respect and loyalty. Many have served the family for generations, becoming part of its fabric. Guests, too, are expected to acknowledge service politely. A soft thank you or nod of appreciation is always noticed and remembered. In newer circles, service can become a spectacle. Waiters bustling about, exaggerated gestures meant to impress. But in old money homes, the more invisible the service, the greater the refinement. True luxury is never loud. Toasts, rituals, and subtle gestures. At some point, often between the main course and dessert, a toast is raised. This moment is never random. It is a delicate tradition, part gratitude, part affirmation of unity. In most cases, the host offers the first toast, thanking guests for their presence and the joy of shared company. It's brief, sincere, and free of embellishment. Guests may then raise their glasses in return, but elaborate speeches are frowned upon. A proper toast is about inclusion, not attention. And then come the subtle gestures, the quiet choreography of manners. Napkins are placed neatly when standing, elbows never on the table, utensils laid diagonally to signal a finished plate. In some homes, there are even generational quirks. A specific silver goblet used only for port, or a family grace whispered before dessert. These rituals aren't pretension, they're preservation. Every gesture connects the evening to a lineage of countless dinners before it. It's not about showing off wealth, it's about honoring continuity. Dessert, the gentle farewell. Dessert, in the world of old money, is not merely sweet, it's symbolic. It marks the transition from formality to familiarity. As plates of crème brûlée, fruit tarts, or aged cheese are served, conversation loosens ever so slightly. The evening breathes. Laughter softens. Guests may shift in their seats, turn toward new faces, or discuss shared memories. Coffee and digestives follow, served in delicate china or polished crystal depending on the tone of the evening. Cognac, brandy, or port appear only if appropriate, and never without moderation. Here's a small but powerful rule: guests never announce their departure during dessert. The proper time to take leave is after coffee, when the atmosphere naturally wanes. Announcing departure too soon disrupts the rhythm. Too late, and it borders on imposition. Even goodbyes are a ritual. The host escorts guests to the door, offering parting words that are gracious yet brief. Gratitude is expressed sincerely, but never effusively. Because in these circles, elegance is never exaggerated, it's simply lived. After the party, the thank you code. For many, the evening ends once the door closes. But for old money, etiquette continues. Within 24 hours, guests send a handwritten thank you note. Not a text, not an email, and never a casual emoji message. A proper note expresses appreciation for the invitation, compliments the company and the meal, and conveys genuine warmth without flattery. Hosts, too, have their post-party customs. They may follow up with a personal call to particularly esteemed guests or send a token gesture, perhaps a bouquet or a small, thoughtful gift, to express mutual respect. These courtesies might seem outdated in today's world of instant messaging, but in truth, they're timeless. They're proof that the relationship between host and guest doesn't end at the dinner table. It endures. The philosophy behind it all. What makes old money dinner parties so fascinating is that they aren't really about the meal at all. They're about values. Every polished fork, every measured conversation, every unspoken cue reflects a deeper philosophy. That refinement is not an act, it's a discipline. These gatherings exist to nurture connection, to preserve grace in a world that often forgets it. In modern society, where success is often shouted, the old money dinner party stands as an oasis of subtlety. Here, you learn that true class doesn't demand attention. It commands it quietly. The lesson is universal. Luxury isn't about extravagance, it's about intention. The way you treat others, the atmosphere you create, the respect you show to time-honored customs, these are the real markers of sophistication. And so, when old money entertains at home, they're not just hosting a dinner, they're upholding a legacy. If you ever find yourself at such a table, among the low murmur of conversation, the soft glint of silver, and the warmth of candlelight, remember this: you're not just a guest at dinner, you're witnessing a living tradition, a centuries-old language spoken not with words, but with grace. The table may be cleared, the glasses emptied, and the candles snuffed out, but in the hearts of those who understand, the evening lives on. Because for the truly refined, hospitality is not a performance. It's who they are.